Hola! I forgot what everybody in Spanish is. I was gonna say hello everybody in Spanish, but I forgot what that is. Anyway, welcome back to Apollo Justice. Ugh, I'm playing Genshin Impact after this. Gotta do more world quest in the name of Baal! Everyone's favorite Raiden Shodan gun. Court is now in session 4. How do I say that? Machito Bae, Your Honor. The Pixie of the Arpeggio. Right, his trial. Court is in session. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is A-okay, her judge. How does he get away with the... What does her even mean? Can only hope it's not that offensive. Very well. Prosecutor Gavin. My opening statement, Ja. No, actually. There was something else I wanted to ask you about. Yes? Say you're going to visit someone in the hospital with an incurable disease. What do you say to them? I mean, you wouldn't say, get well soon, right? You'd only be kicking them when they're down. What are you talking about? Actually, I'm going to visit someone who is terminally ill. Terminally ill. Right after this trial, the Chief Justice's son. The Chief Justice? His son is afflicted with a most terrible disease. He doesn't have long, it seems. So I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought saying something moving might be the order of the day. Why don't grown-ups ever just say what's on their mind instead of pretending? He's looking at me like with something like disgust. Hey, what are you looking at me like that for? In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly. Prosecutor Gavin, your opening statement, briefly. You're in luck, her judge. I believe you'll be going on your hospital visit sooner than you think. First, to review the victim in this case. Romain Letous, age 35, the global manager for Diva Songstress La Miroir. Cause of death, blood loss, due to being shot by a large caliber revolver. This report has all the details. The court accepts this into evidence. 45 caliber, that's quite large, isn't it? A direct hit from that could knock a man off his feet. However, the bullet struck him in his shoulder. The damage to the body was light. Death was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss was such that he could not be saved. I suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse considering. 2 shots were fired. 1 shot missed. The other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder. I think I have hiccups. Both bullets were found on the wall at the scene. Observe the diagram. This is where the bullets hit. I see. The court accepts this into evidence. Just so many fucking evidence just being added right now. We're talking about a 45 caliber revolver. We must assume that the killer was adept at the weapon's use. Really? Yeah, apparently weapons that have a size... Weapons that size have a powerful kickback. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, it'd break every bone in his body. The defense will take more care in choosing examples. As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage in the dressing room. This dressing room has only one entrance, this door. Does seem to be the case, yes. However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshots. It's talking about you and them, huh? Yet when the witnesses had entered the room, it was empty, save for the victim's body, of course. But that's impossible! Exactly. This murder was impossible. For all but one person. One person? That is, of course, the defendant, Machito Bae. Only this defendant could have committed the crime, but how? It's quite simple. The circumstances of the crime scene make it clear. Very well. I assume you have testimony to back up this claim. Let the witness please take the stand. Emma. Your name and profession, please. Emma Sky. I'm a detective for the police department. I saw security detail at the concert forum that night. Emma seems tired somehow. Security at the concert, you say? Some security I was. Couldn't even stop murder. Now don't blame yourself, things like this happen. I've made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know? That sounds bad. I'm sure that makes her feel much better. I want to hear about these bigger mistakes. In any case, because you were on security detail, the crime was quickly discovered, and we were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony if you would. Describe the circumstances of that day and your discovery of the crime, please. Alright. The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it. It was lucky that the detective was the first on the scene. That door was the only way out of the room, right? Yeah, pretty much. And I don't get it. How can they say that Machi did it? Looks like we need a bit more information. Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination. A healthy mind always is one to ask questions. The night of the murder was the night of the concert, yes? That's right. What was a detective doing in security detail, might I ask? It was only a concert. My thoughts exactly. But orders are orders, even when they come from rock gods. Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say. A stench of conspiracy. That day at the concert hall? Conspiracy? Well, isn't it obvious? My keys. That whole morning, no, the whole day was ruined. And it's all because someone stole my keys. I couldn't ride my hog to the show, I couldn't open my guitar case. There he goes again. Isn't it possible he simply misplaced them? Misplaced them? Misplaced items don't just wander into a murder victim's hand on their own. What's this? Prosecutor Gavin, if your keys were on the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect. Nah, he has an airtight alibi, I'd presume. Love, slow acting in you. Atrokunine is waiting for you. He's singing something. Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top? The killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was like a sailor, adrift on a sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen. So I put the detective with the most time on their hands on the task. I see. I can accept that. Well, I can't. What do you mean time in their Please, the testimony. Heh! Poor Emma. We were let in, though. I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you. I gave the Fräulein special permission to be there. I want to see her again. Oh boy, did you hear that? We're officially involved now! Gee, great. Some other hangers-on tried to get backstage, but I drove them off. But no other outsiders were there then. And then... I believe we were having a chat when we heard the shots. You were the one chatting. I was eating snackus. Ah, hey! No snacking in court! I'm sure the shots came from Lamiroar's room. Yes, absolutely. Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here. Here, this'll keep you quiet. Ah, thanks. So, how about it, Emma? We were right. They're hard to be mistaken about. Please, either talk or eat. Not both at the same time. Right, so after that, me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door. I want some candy. I got some Mentos here. I'm gonna go eat some. As much as I'd like some sour flavored ones right now, I definitely wouldn't want to sour my taste buds while I'm voice acting. That would affect my performance. Rock? Blaring, yes. When you say rock, are you referring perhaps to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days? That's right, when we went into the dressing room. Music was blaring over the speaker on the wall. They piped sound from the stage into the backstage through the speakers. That way people in the back can hear when they're supposed to be on stage. Did it have to be so loud? You don't listen to the governors with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul. They always have the backstage monitors at full volume. When we walked in the room, the band was playing Guilty Love, I believe, making it easy to determine the time of the crime. You can hear that music playing. And everyone on stage for that song has an alibi, including myself. Anyway, I closed off the scene and started my investigation. How can you know something like that? As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen, we know there's only one exit from the room, that door. Small window only opened a tiny crack. And I was standing in front of that door. So, how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility. The air vent. Ah. But that air vent was too small. Who could possibly... Exactly. There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only one who could get through was a child. A child. But he's blind. Remember, access to those rooms was limited. Only those involved with the concert were allowed. With all the people involved with the concert, only one is small enough to be considered a child. The defendant! The pixie of the arpeggio flitted up toward the sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime. Damn, but that's just conjecture. Oh, there was no other way out of that room. You were there, you should know her, Forehead. And there is another vital piece of evidence. Evidence? What? Marks were found in the air vent grill. Traces that it had recently been opened. What? And something else was found, quite recently. The defendant must have Tobias' fingerprints. On the gun? Order! 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 That air vent was the only way out of that room. The defendant's fingerprints were found in the grill. Well, her Forehead, what fairy tale does this suggest to you? Ugh. Only one could pass through that vent. That doorway to heaven. And that one is our pixie. Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was out whooping it up in the audience. Quite decisive indeed. I believe that's enough of that. The prosecution has a rather convincing case. The only way in and out of the crime scene was watched, making the defendant the only one who could possibly leave the scene. Simple and decisive. I believe we've heard enough to determine our verdict. Now, Judge, you're letting the fact that you gotta go visit someone in the hospital affect your decisions. Even if I wasn't in a hurry to make a hospital visit, I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Unfortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Fortunately, the criminal left decisive evidence for us. That will have to be enough. It can't be over already. Very well, I believe the trial is finished. If the defense has no contradicting evidence, the prosecution has presented our proof, clear and plain. You have contradicting evidence? It better be clear and plain.
Apollo, they've got us on the ropes already. We better come up with something quick.
I know.
Think, what can get us out of this? We need evidence or a witness that can provide Machi is innocent beyond a doubt. Without that,
Mr. Justice, you have contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case? If you do, you'd better tell us about it now.
This is it, and so soon. If I mess this one up, it's all over. The court wants contradicting proof. Shit! What do I do? Okay, I believe the best course of action is to call a witness. But man, I don't think they're gonna like that. But if we can, we could try calling for Lamira or something. And she can testify to Machi's alibi, maybe. And Latu's also called her a witness. So I got nothing. Unless I can use this brooch somehow. Damn. Okay, I'm gonna go with my gut and try calling a witness first. If I end up being right, I swear it's not because I cheated. But if I get it wrong, now you know. Prosecutor Gavin, you claim that there were no witnesses to this crime. Are you absolutely sure? Absolutely, I'd swear it on my career as a prosecutor. And on my million-seller hit song, Atricu 9, My Love. There he goes again. That's too bad, because there was a witness.
Oh, really now? But how did you come to possess knowledge of the prosecution clearly does not?
Because I'm the only one in the world who knows this. The siren.
What? The victim said this before he died?
Perhaps he did, and perhaps he did not. What do you mean by that? All we know is that what her forehead says he said. It's no testimony, especially since it comes from the defense attorney himself. But it's the truth, he said it. I even told you about it. Apparently you ignored me completely. It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly, this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job.
That's enough, Mr. Justice. We need clear contradictory proof from you. This witness of yours, unknown to the prosecution, I hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty.
Perhaps a stiffer penalty than usually is called for. There's no backing out now.
Let's hear the name of your witness, Mr. Justice.
Alright.
La Miroir?
Recall Mr. Ratus's last words.
The witness is Siren. The siren, aha! He meant the siren.
That's right, the siren of the ballad, La Miroir. La Miroir was only on stage for the second set. She had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness.
I see. Well, Prosecutor Gavin,
my claim still stands. There was no witness to this crime.
Very well. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? We will now take a break from Detective Emma Sky's cross-examination. Please show La Miroir to the witness stand.
La Miroir would say nothing to the night of the murder. Not today, though. Today, we'll drag that story out of her no matter what it is. It is my distinct honor to welcome the Siren of the Ballad to our courtroom. You're too kind.
Aye, you can speak English.
Yes, I can. Though I am not very good. There's much I do not know.
You speak so well. Have you spent time here before?
Actually, I do not know how I came by my knowledge of your language, nor where I studied it. For an image. Does she mean she doesn't know? I too thought to call her as a witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course. What's that? La Miroir suffers from amnesia.
Amnesia?
What? La Miroir is not my true name, yet I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage. Oh, she's even more mysterious than I thought. As lauded singer, La Miroir, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her thanks to her success. Yet, I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress.
I see. I care surprisingly little about people's past. You have nothing to fear in this court, La Miroir.
Thank you. Yet there is something I do not understand. I am being called as a witness. What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened. La Miroir, let me be frank. I did not want to ask you up here to testify. Yet that young gentleman with the wide forehead over there was adamant that you stand. Oh my. Congratulations, Apollo. You're the bad guy.
Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. Nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime.
I know. Na-na-na-na-na-na. You can't forgive love and pride. Because of that, it's killing me inside. I've been listening to her cover, Melly's cover of Kamsuser Todd recently. I only discovered there were 2 songs in the Miracle Milk album that I did not own. Downloaded them immediately and I am in love. Shitty Flowers is kinda eh, but it is pretty cool how it's super secret and stuff. But Kamsuser Todd, or however the frick you pronounce it, very awesome. As for what I saw nothing. That night I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. That was where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details.
I must say, you sound wonderful just testifying.
Oh, he was too distracted to hear what she was actually saying. There you have it. She saw nothing that night. Now I can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat, and refrain from detaining her here any longer than need be. Wow, you just got better, Apollo. Way to go! Everyone's against me.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet.
Do I get a penalty anytime I freaking press her for pointless shit? Nope, nothing's being mentioned. Are you sure? You must have seen something Mr. Latus named you. Mr. Latus? How can I tell you what I don't know? Let me roar, he said you were a witness with his dying words. I do not know what he meant to say, but that night... It was a great concert. You heard me sing. Thank you. I was hoping to get an autograph later, actually. Of course. Mr. Justice, this is a cross-examination. You're out of line. If anyone deserves an autograph here, it's me. One on my gavel would be nice. Her judge. It's my autograph. Now keep this trial moving. What? Oh, my grandchild will be so happy. He always keeps fucking papers with his signature. That's fucking amazing. You did not return backstage once? Where were you then? What were you doing? I was cleaning up on stage. There are many things I must do for a performance other than simply sing. Was Machi with you at the time? Unfortunately, I do not know where he was. So much for an alibi for Machi. Machi, correct? How was he then? He seemed as he always does, though I believed he was shocked by the news of Mr. Latus's death. Yet, he's not the type to show much emotion. Yes, he's given the police no end of headaches. He answers most questions with silence. Those glinting frames speak nothing. Questioning hasn't gotten very far. We sat there waiting. How's the incident explained to you? I was told nothing in detail, only that Mr. Latus died.
Of course, investigations require some security.
But Mr. Latus was my manager. I wanted to know more. I should have been told. Both Machi and I were beside ourselves with concern. Allow me to apologize, but please understand. Keeping you in the dark was as painful for me as it was for you. Yes, I understand.
Think. What doesn't ring true about her testimony?
It's hard to imagine Lana Mirar lying.
Might not be lying, but she's hiding something. What did she tell me the night of the murder?
I can try presenting this brooch, maybe. What exactly did he try to write? He wrote something in his blood, but by the looks of it, it was wiped off. Using your dying moments to write the name of the killer. Why does it happen so much in this game? Has there ever been a case like that in real life? Dying last words cliche while fucking on the shoulders of someone. My throat. I think I need some water. This one's a little difficult. Yep. Alright, we're back to me being an idiot again. So much for my epic win streak back at that previous courtroom antic thing. Maybe I'm on the right track. There we go. I'm sorry, Lamiror, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch, do you not? Why, that's Lamiror's. She was wearing it for her song. Care to add that to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin? Or what? This brooch was found after the murder took place. At the very scene of the crime! What? Lamiror, how did your brooch get backstage if you did not go there yourself? And as Prosecutor Gavin has just told us, you had been wearing it during your performance that night. What is the meaning of this? Lamiror, please explain. Lamiror? He says English is quite difficult. The trick's not going to work here. Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer, truly. But you have missed one important fact. What now? In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment. What? Think back to the moment of the crime, and know whereof I speak. Is she really saying all that? What's she talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred? Ah! Is she talking about that? Ooh! I looked into the room. Just a glance, mind you. This was when your brooch was dropped. That explains that. It does. There was no other time I could have dropped it. That's ridiculous! You only looked in for an instant, but you dropped your brooch. Her forehead. She has raised a possibility. The only thing that can counter that is evidence. So she looked in at the crime scene. Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice. Her forehead shouting. Who's there, no doubt. A horrible voice indeed. God damn it. I feel so called out. Even though it technically isn't me. But since Apollo's headcanon voice is basically just my normal voice. My headcanon voice for Phoenix is actually Journald's voice. We thought it fitting. And of course I voiced Miles and every other prosecutor. I closed the door immediately.
Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony.
It's too convenient. She's hiding something. Lamiror, you did look into that room though, right? Yes. Testify as to what you saw. Very well. It was only the briefest of glimpses. When my performance was finished, I went backstage for just a moment. Ooh. My bracelet's acting up. What did you see in that brief glimpse? I'd only opened the door slightly when I heard that horrible voice.
And shut the door.
I've always wondered, Hair Forehead. Is that voice of yours like a volume knob? It's my cords of steel, man. Just back off. Saw nothing. When my performance was finished, I went backstage. For just a moment, I saw nothing. The late Mr. Letus's body was behind the wall. A wall? Is there a wall there? Alright, since the thing's acting up, I know there's no evidence to shove into anywhere with here. That's kind of actually a problem. One would think. It does make the game easier, but that's exactly the problem. When the ring's acting up, you know you don't need to do any evidence, and when it isn't, you know you gotta do evidence. Wall? Was there a wall there? Is what in English? A division, or partition, I believe. It was a large dressing room divided into two halves. The murder took place in the inside half. I guess the partition might have hidden the body. You were more quiet. You were more quiet there. The late Mr. Letus's body, you say? Yes. You know something more about Mr. Letus's death than you are saying. What? I could see you trying not to remember. The effort made you swallow. You can't fool my eyes. It is true. It was so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Letus have to be shot? One moment, Lamiror. Yes? What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Letus have to be shot? Yes? But you were told nothing about that! She was hiding something. I knew it! Lamiror, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony. Huh? How could that be?
Take this! It's this thing, right? Tell me, Lamirar, how did you know he had been shot?
Eh? Well, I...
Immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving that. In your testimony, you told the court, no one told me anything about the incident. Furthermore, you testified that you had seen nothing. Yet you knew that Mr. Latouche had been shot. How could you have known?
No! Camellia. Bum 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 bum.
Lamirar, you aren't hiding something from this court, I hope. That sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet.
Ah, now I remember. Please, allow me to add to my testimony.
Of course. All we want to know is the truth.
She looks kind of pale, huh?
She saw something, I know it. Even the victim said so. Alright, still the same testimony. Saw bullet holes in the wall and knew Mr. Latouche had been shot. Hold it! Only a glimpse, yet you knew they were bullet holes.
Yes, I recognized them immediately. I've seen bullet holes before, you know.
I've traveled the world as a singer. You must have sung in places far more dangerous than our country.
I go wherever my voice is needed. Those places are many these days. That's really cool. I hope I get to travel like Lamirar someday.
Yeah, you can be like Shiny Chariot or something. Traveling around the world using magic to spread smiles and joy to people.
Yeah!
I plan on recording my next album overseas. Your studios have a different sound, you know. Maybe I should go on a Chords of Steel tour too! There's gotta be a contradiction here. I'm lost.
Damn it. I'm on the wrong track. Okay, I am lost. Well, time to make a save. This is hard. I don't have a working theory, if anything, right now. So I can't really present anything with confidence. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. They call you the Siren of the Ballad, but lies are hardly becoming of such a creature. What do you mean? That's exactly what a siren does, though. They lure sailors in with their songs so they can catch them and eat them. Or wait, those are called sirens. Or is there really a difference? Anyway, the point is, I got it. I did have a vague idea, and I just went with what I thought made the most sense. This thing was my original idea, but then I thought maybe it's the autopsy report. But yeah, I was correct. Because those bullet holes were only visible during the third performance. There was no way she could have known about it, blah blah blah. Whatever, I'll let Apollo explain. A put-down worthy of our prosecutor, Mr. Justice. Such put-downs are hardly becoming of you, Apollo. Stop polishing your forehead and start polishing your character, Ja. Come on, can't I be cool for once? Observe the diagram. Lammeror, you looked in from the door for just a moment, correct? Yes, that is so. There were bullet holes in the room, yes? But they were in the wall the door is on. Eh? You see, assuming you merely glanced into the room, you wouldn't have seen those bullet holes. Yeah. Lammeror. Yes. I'm afraid the defense has raised a good point. It appears you have been holding back something. And I must tell you what it is that I saw. Yes. The happenings in this trial are being recorded, and I'm certain it will be on the news in Virginia. You understand your reputation is at stake. It falls to you to avoid tarnishing it. Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us absolutely nothing. But she knew how Mr. Lettuce died, and he named her as a witness. You must have seen something, Lammeror. Very well. Lammeror, please continue your testimony. Very well, I shall. What I saw, too, Electric Boogaloo. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Machi. It was a grown person. I know it was. So you did witness the crime, and the killer was a grown person, you say? Ah, this is the first time hearing this, I assure you. Nice play, her forehead. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your cross-examination. Great going, Apollo. You're right about Lammeror. What's wrong? You don't look too happy. Whole thing smells fishy. That's what's wrong. So you're heading towards the dressing room. Yes. But it's a little before she opened the dressing room door and dropped her brooch. Same time Emma and her heard those gunshots. I was on my way back. What exactly is something like a little window? Yes, well, window is the best word I know in English. I think this is how it is said, yes? You need not worry, Lamiroir, your choice of words is impeccable. There's a small window in the dressing room in question. Perhaps the defense remembers this detail. A little window on the wall. I saw the crime from there. Yes, quite certain. I was on my way to the backstage exit. This was when I heard a faint sound, like a gunshot. Wondering where it had been, I peered through the window. That is when I heard the second gunshot, much closer. It all happened on the other side of that window. There was nothing I could do. Wasn't Machi who shot, are you sure? Yes, quite certain. It amuses me that you would question her testimony. It is testimony in your favor. Isn't it my job to object? Yeah, Polo, what were you thinking? True, Let's just listen to what Lamiroir has to say. Tell me about how you were sure. Yes, of course, you see. Grown person. That's a little vague. I am sorry. My skill with your language is lacking, I know. Certainly you could at least see whether the shooter was male or female. It was a man. A young man. And you're sure of that? Yes, his voice was quite clear. Voice? Looking at this diagram, it seems the dressing room was quite cluttered. Does seem likely that you wouldn't have had a clear view of the shooter. As a singer, I rely more on my ears than my eyes. When I hear a voice, I do not forget it. That voice was the voice of a man. So you heard a voice, but wait. Couldn't that have been the victim, Mr. Lettuce? Absolutely not. Did I not just say that I do not forget a voice? If it was Mr. Lettuce who spoke, I would have known.
Indeed. So you were at the window and you heard the shooter's voice. The voice of a young man.
Polo, this is a good testimony. That proves it wasn't Machi.
Indeed. If this turns out to be true, it would cast this case in a considerably different light. What is the defense's opinion on this testimony?
I mean, if he did shoot from close range, like this... Yeah. The other alternative, that would mean there would be at least a bullet hole. It's pretty good. Well, I'd have to say it's pretty good. Vital, even. It shows that the shooter wasn't Machi. Ha! Surely you can't be serious, her forehead. Why not? Lamiroir. I understand why you would want to protect Machi, yet remember, you are the siren of the ballad. And lies do not become such a creature.
What does the prosecution mean?
Apollo, what's he talking about? How come no one bats an eye when he says stuff like that? I recall the state of the crime scene quite well.
The state of the room?
Yes, and when the murder took place, that window was closed. I find it hard to believe you could hear a voice through it. What? But I'm sure. Lamiroir, I have nothing but the highest regard for your musical sense. But my opinion of you as a witness is somewhat lesser. But she's the only eyewitness we have. So you say. And the victim named her the Siren as the witness. That's right. That's what Mr. Latus. We heard your claim, we even entertained the possibility, and it brought us to this. Her judge. Yes. The prosecution requested the witness be excused. Please. I'm afraid I must honor the prosecution's request. There's indeed a question of the witness's credibility. But if Lamoureux can't testify, then we don't have a chance of proving Machi's innocence. This cross-examination is over. Prosecutor Gavin, you may continue making your case. Danke. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. I would like to hear from the Fräulein detective again. Wait, let me hear Lamoureux's testimony one last time. But the cross-examination is already over. Until such a time as a need arises, this witness may leave the stand. I'm sorry I could not be of more assistance. At last, back to the real trial. Ready, Her Forehead? I hope I didn't just mess up my only chance. Fräulein detective, how far had we gotten until we were so rudely interrupted? Don't ask me. I just like saying the same thing twice, and I never repeat a song for an encore. If you would, Mr. Sky. I believe I was saying the only way Mr. Latus's killer could have escaped was through that air vent on the ceiling. Ah, yes. There was only one door in the room, and the witness, you, was standing in front of it. That air vent isn't very big, see? Kind of limits the people who could possibly get through. I certainly would have a difficult time. You sure would. Not that you would have been there in the first place, though. Remember, the whole backstage area was off limits to people not involved in the concert. The only one who meets the condition for a killer is the defendant. A virtuoso performance. Couldn't put it better myself. She does state a clear case. Though reading the report, something caught my eye. Alright, well, here comes Toryu. Hold on a minute while I do something about this. Recording! If only there was an easier way to do this without any need for editing. I gotta go to the volume mixer and change my audio to make sure everyone is loud and clear and I can hear everything nice and nice.
Well, you know you don't. That also works, Festy. You just don't.
Anyway, I'm almost an hour into this, so I'm basically
almost an hour into this.
Basically almost done with this particular recording, and just as promised, as I said at the beginning of this video, I will be playing Genshin Impact afterwards.
But how would I know that that was promised? Because I wasn't there to hear it.
I'm speaking to my viewers.
But if you think about it, I'm also one of your viewers, right?
I guess.
Sort of.
You watched like what? One part from my Epic Battle Fantasy 4 Let's Play?
Probably. Hey, I'll finish it. Even though you didn't.
You'll finish watching an unfinished Let's Play. There's a certain irony in that. Anyway, let me continue. Oh, what's that? The circumstances of the defendant's arrest. Circumstances? Again? Hey, that's right, Apollo. Remember when we found Machi? That was bizarre. She's right. Why did Mr. Latus's body disappear from the room and end up on top of that stage tower? Holding a guitar, no less. A perceptive observation, Her Judge. Thanks. It was kind of an accident, really.
but you work in this job long enough, you get a nose for things.
I'd imagine that's what would happen if you were forced to fucking be the judge for multiple cases involving fucking ghosts, among other things. The judge sure seems pleased with himself.
Very good, Fräulein Detective. Perhaps you can tie it all together for us. Why was the body moved? And how did that lead us to the killer?
Witness testimony. I believe Machi stole the body because of some lyrics. He moved the body to match La Mirar's song. No one in this country had a motive to kill the victim, and Machi practically left his signature at the scene. All this evidence clearly points to the defendant. La Mirar's song?
Yes, the Guitar Serenade. You noticed its code too, did you not?
Its code?
All the events that day followed the lyrics to our song. First, the keys. My heart, held on to so tightly, were stolen.
Then, prosecutor's Gavin guitar burst into flames on stage. Mr. Latus's life was taken by a bullet.
The rest hardly needs an explanation. Guitar, guitar, up together to the sky. That's mad! It's like a story out of some fairy tale!
There's a story out of a fairy tale.
I admit I'd forgotten about the song. It is now, waiting for me, the grand finale as it were. Hey, you know, I was the one who first noticed that.
I've heard of jumping rope to songs and counting the songs. But killing? It's a wild world out there, her judge.
Yeah, one of the reasons I play music, fun fact, I usually always play music while in the bath. And I use those songs as a timer.
Weird flex, but okay.
I know the exact time of every song I put on my playlist. So I have a very keen perception of time and how long I spend in the bathroom anytime.
Stop lying.
No. 4 minutes of toothbrush. 2 minutes of drying myself.
Did you know that you should be doing 10 minutes of toothbrushing?
What do you mean 10 minutes? That's overkill. The recommended is 2 brushes per day, and each brush lasts 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
That doesn't even count the time that I spend, the 30 seconds I spend fucking gargling. Obviously, there's margins of error. No one's perfect.
I'm just spouting bullshit, okay?
I use mouthwash, by the way. Fun fact. Another fun fact about me.
Is it really a fun fact, though? What's so fun about it?
Nothing.
Anyway, we've heard one song and dance. Let's get on to the next, the cross-examination.
Not so sure I'm going to be doing much singing. What about your chords of steel, Apollo? Your chords of steel! Anyway, this cross-examination will have to wait for next video. Find out what's gonna happen on the next episode. Let me make my saves, and then I end this recording. Goodbye!